with great respect and love, I welcome you all here tonight with all my heart. We should never think that we're alone. There are always hands to help us. Even though we may not be aware of them, even though we may not see them, there is a presence around us that uplifts and supports us, protects us, and guides us. All we need to do is to open up to that energy, that force, that power. In the beginning, we need the Guru. We need the physical presence of the Guru. Because we're not subtle enough to avoid self-deception. And the physical presence of the Guru can help to dispel our self-delusion that somehow we've advanced tremendously far on the spiritual path and now we're an advanced yogi. And the Guru's job sometimes very difficult and unpleasant. And I've had this experience more than once. Slaps the ego down. In some subtle way, perhaps no one else in the room understands or knows what's being done and said, but you know. And this erosion of the ego, this erosion of the sense of self-importance, and I can do this all, is part of the Guru's job, to grind away that sense of self-importance that separates us from the experience of merging into the infinite. No matter where we are on the path, where we think we are on the path, there are always these hands around us. There are always these supporting energies around us. Bodies come and go. All of our bodies in 100 years' time will be redistributed. The atoms will be somewhere else, growing in a vegetable garden, a flower, perhaps another body, who knows. But another aspect of ourselves is indestructible. It continues. And it's that aspect of ourselves that connects with our spiritual guides. Even if you've never met in physical form your Guru, have no question, no doubt, that is there. That is there for you. Looking out for you, guiding you in subtle ways. Tell you a little story. I'm working individually with somebody who has no prior experience of yoga at all. And yet, in talking with her, she's in her 60s now, in talking with her, it becomes apparent that her foundation is very yogic, in the sense that she wants to do no harm to anyone else. She says we must never harm anyone. She's had a rough life, lots of difficult things have happened to her, and yet for all that, her heart is full of forgiveness. So we were sitting here, and she looked up at that picture of Paramahamsa Yogananda. That's the last picture they took before he died, the day before he dropped his body. Look at the bliss in his face. And she said, that seems strangely familiar. And I saw her again today, after a 2-week, after a 2-week break. And she said she was looking on Facebook in Marketplace, and she saw some photos there for sale nearby, not far from where she lived. And she went, she brought them with, and they were all the siddhis, all the saints of the Kriya Yoga tradition, from Babaji down to the current teacher of Kriya Yoga. And somehow, beautiful, 7 or 8 photographs like this had come to her as a kind of an uplifting encouragement to say we're here. So all we need to do is open our hearts. Put aside this kind of I know and I me and my cup is full, and go to the feet of the Guru and say, and tell him or her what we think is right. We have to empty ourselves. We have to be like a cup that's empty. Turn it upside down. The ego flows away, and then come with an empty cup. And into that empty cup, the drops of nectar can be put. So we're given the practices, we're given the yogic practices in order to occupy us, keep us busy. So we're not getting up to mischief. Rather do some asana, do some pranayama, sit for meditation. At least then we're not getting up to mischief. At least then we're not engaging in bad habits. So ahimsa, meaning do the least harm possible in the world. It doesn't say go out there and do good and perform, great acts of welfare to others. It says do the least harm possible. If that's all that we do, we're doing good. So our practices are a wonderful accompaniment to our unfolding, to our awakening. And even though at a certain point it's possible to drop the practices, to stop doing the yoga, the meditation, the pranayama, even the awakened ones continue right to the end, when the body's dropped. My Guru, on the last day of his life, 2nd of December 1982, I was with him, and even at the very last, he was doing his japa. No need to, his mind was already free and fully awakened, but still did his japa. Perhaps as a kind of a lesson, to say let's not get ahead of ourselves and think somehow we've transcended the need for practice. Practice, practice, practice. The Buddhists say the same thing. Never relinquish your practice, it's your friend, it's your treasure. So let's begin our practice this evening by chanting our mantra 3 times together. This wonderful sound, this sound that fills the universe, the Om, the Pranabam. If you have the opportunity to sit quietly in nature somewhere or wherever you are, and your mind enters into that realm of stillness, you may hear the Pranabam, the hum of the universe. Feel your breath rise and fall. Empty your lungs. Breathe in deeply, and we'll chant together.